People, it's been a little while since we've done one of these, because this project took way too long. But it is finally here, and I bring to you the ride operator training for Splatfinity. Let's walk around a little bit. Ride like this looks intimidating, but and there's a lot of moving parts, but it's very straightforward, I promise you. So this right here is Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. So this is the restaurant nearby. There are restrooms in here, as well as the docks, which I'm going to walk you over to soon. This, of course, is Splatfinity. It's constantly launching trains. So we walk over, we're going to be walking past the ride exit, where you see these big old colorful things, and you're probably wondering, what are those? Those are RFID activated lockers. You get an RFID card, and then you use it to open the locker. Here, I'm going to show you how to do it real quick. Let's cross over here real quick. You take one of these blank cards. So let's go with this green one. We're going to tap right here. Locker's going to open. We're going to put our stuff in, and then you're going to close it. You're going to tap again to lock it. Oh, I think it might lock on its own. So this is locker number 361. Let's go. But oh my god, we forgot something. So we're going to come over to this thing. Which locker's ours? Obviously it's that green locker, but what if we forgot? So then we can scan here, and something's going to pop up. It's going to say locker 361. And then you go over to locker 361. Of course, tap it again. It'll open. And then you can do whatever we need. Let's close that. Let's pretend for a second that we've ridden the ride. Then we're just coming down the exit. Alright, we're coming down the exit. You can do the same thing. There's your scan number, and then we take out the locker. Stuff out the locker. And then we take our stuff out, we close it, it locks on its own. And then we drop the cards in there. And in there is a little scanner device that's going to wipe the card blank. And every so often, Locker's going to come back here. They're going to empty these things out. They're going to take the cards, and then they're going to walk them back over in those little wooden boxes you saw. So that's how those work. Here's our photo booth. Here's the entrance to the ride. There are 2 greeter positions. And then you can walk along the ride, kind of walk along the river, the little Calumet River. And then come out this way, where you have these other restrooms over here. And then you're wondering why I put WC on them. Well, in Europe, where I was this summer, and outside pretty much the rest of the United States, WC is used to denote bathrooms. And it stands for water closet. So fun fact for you there. But you got bathrooms, you got a family bathroom right here as well. And here's a nice little area where you can stay and you can watch the swing launch take place. You have trains coming by every 45 seconds. So you can kind of sit here, you can watch them launch all day, you can take your Bubba Gump down here. Eventually we're going to put a restaurant down here. And then also over here is provisions for our Nebulaz ride, Ink Mixer. See, there goes one right now. Up to the tippy top, and blast off. Then it goes up and over. And then that teal one's going to come in right behind it. Rinse and repeat. These little yellow things are quahawks. Little quahawk dummies. Quahawks are one of the enemies in Splatoon. Leaving Salmon Run, correct me if I'm wrong. Your weapons testing, quote unquote, because you don't actually hold anything. Alright, but your automated weapons testing from the Woomy-mobiles, which are our trains, those are used to test that out. So, we're going to go back here to the exit side, because this is one of the first of many rides in the Sentinel chain that will be running a single rider line, and single rider is right here. You go in right there, you wait in your line. A lot of the time, when it's not busy, you go right in, right through the metal detector and up. We have a few people in front of you, but during busy days, this single rider line can get full. People can end up waiting well over an hour or even 2 just in single rider. And then, the thing about single rider lines, they're a gamble. And they're a gamble because you don't know what the groupings are. And only when there's an empty seat, sometimes maybe get lucky and there might be 2 empty seats, because for whatever reason, there's only groups of 3 and 4 left, and she's got 2 empty seats open in a row. And then, at that point, just pull 2 single riders. And we got them. Sometimes when it's really dead, you don't got them. We're going to take you over here. Past the Bubba Gump. Wave hi to the people eating at Bubba Gump. To our very... On the appearance, when it was being constructed, it looked very drab. Like it's just a canopy. But no, lots of nice lights up there. We're going to come over here. Over here is our... That's the launch track right there. That's the transfer table. And then you got your storage track over here. Right on the water. How cool is that? You're an employee and you're kind of trying to hide and not trying to do any work. You can kind of be down here and watch some launches from an angle you don't usually get. And then we go up this way. And then we're going to open this up. This gate can be opened at any time. That one's got to stay closed while trains are moving. Like if you stand on the pad while trains are moving, it won't even do anything. This one can be opened at any time. And it won't cause the ride to stop. It won't cause any safety issues. Because you're employees. You're house trained. Cross. Alright, go ahead and cross. Then we can sit here, we can watch trains go for a little bit. Well, I explained to you some basic info about the ride. We're going to do that, then we're going to go on a little tour of the queues. I'm going to tell you how long the queue is from each point. So we'll come back up here, start explaining positions, exit, and then I guess we'll kind of just go in the order of rotation. We'll go from there. Actually, screw it. I'd rather you be in the station. Let's cross back over. Thank you. Alright, cross. Alright. You just kind of relax here and watch trains go out. That's our monitor up there, by the way. It's a very cool monitor. Here, come over here so you can get a closer look at it. Don't worry about us. Go ahead and send the train. Shows all the seats, how many dispatches there were, your readies. Everything's fine and dandy. Alright. Alright. Basic info about the ride. Let's do it. So, of course, general info. If you have a downtime, you're going to call park ops. If you're at controls, then you're going to mark in the downtime log. You know, usual stuff. And we'll go over that more in detail at each position. Once you're at greeter, if you're at main greeter, which is where the regular park phone is, or controls at... There's no greeter, which there always will be at this ride. They're going to 50 past the hour, call the wait time into park ops. They can update it on the app. Occasionally what we'll do, in addition to our usual guesstimation, is we'll send a card through with the time on it. We'll ask a guess. This isn't always successful. If it's not, oh well. We're going to mark the... If we decide to do one, you'll pull one out of greeter. You'll mark down what time on it is. You'll say to a guest who's going in standby, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you please hold on to this for a while and then hand it to grouper up there when you get up there?" Well, most of the time they'll do it, no problem. So, like I said, it's not always successful. Sometimes they'll forget. Sometimes they'll slip out. Oh well. We have loads of these cards. They're little slips of paper. They cost like 0.5% of a cent to, to give them. So they'll get that. And then they'll hand it to the greeter, who will then write down what time it is on there. And then they'll pick up the A phone. They'll call on the controls. They'll say, "Hey, here's what time the guests entered the line, here's what time they left, and then here's how long they waited." And then they'll call that time in a park ops, who will then round it to the nearest 5 minutes. Round it up to the next 5 minutes. Always round up, never round down. If there was a downtime, then usually we disregard those for a little while. For easy queues are a line skip system. It's kind of a hybrid between the two cedar flags models. Forgot the last time I did one of these, they weren't fully merged yet. So you're going to check the color, you're going to check the logo, you're going to scan it. This arrived with 2 scans. You scan once at greeter, and then you scan once at grouper. Then you're going to scan again at the lockers, because they merge at lockers. So the greeter scan shows you the number of scans left, and it shows if you have a valid scan. Like if you're out of scans for the ride. The way it works, you get a certain number of scans in a rolling 1-hour window. You use a scan, and then it comes back an hour later. For this ride right now, for regular, it's still 1 per day. For both levels, it's 1 per day. I think starting winter season 2020... Yeah, winter season this year. So, 25 to 26, we're going to give it the usual limits of the rest of the park. Because it still gets a pretty sizable easy queue line. So, and then the second scan deducts a scan from your count. So the one down there shows 0 scans, shows 0 scan. Shows 1 scan, and then you scan up here, it's going to show 0 scan. It's going to take that scan. When you measure heights, should be a height stick over here. There's no height stick on this side. Oh yeah, there's one in there. Here, let's go in here for a second. So height sticks, these guys. Little brass in the end so they don't shorten, because people like to play with them. When you measure heights, you measure to the top of the tape with your carpenter's triangle. Here's your water cooler, by the way. Height stands. Is there one over here? There's one over there. Here. You can cross for a sec. Once the next train parks, you're going to cross for a second. You can watch it from that side. It's just like guests are on that side, and the guests are guests. You have 88 over there. Where are they going? Back row? Okay. Cross. Alright. Come in here for a quick second. So this here is a height stick. Or a height stand, I mean. So how it works is you have the kid stand here with their back to the pole. This triangle here is going to swivel. If it hits their head solid, as in doesn't raise hair, if it hits their head solid, that means they're good. If it's uber too close to tell, send to guest relations to get properly measured, or the nearest height measuring station. There's a few dot around. If they're good, they'll give them a wristband. Alright, cross. Thank you for that. So, as you know, this is a ride. This ride does not have item tickets, actually. How do they think about it? We have item tickets. Usually they're for when you can't bring anything past the entrance, and you do. And then you get sent back. We'll let you go through the ease queue. But by the time you're supposed to drop your bags and shit off, at that point you're at the lockers and the two lines are merged, so it's a moot point. If you snuck something past the lockers and we catch it up here for some reason, that's on you at that point. So, send them back down, they can wait in the back of the line. They can wait in the line again, which usually isn't more than 10-15 minutes anyway. However, there are some things that are of medical necessity that the rider will be allowed to take past the metal detectors, at which point you carry them while they're in line. They're usually tagged. They hand them to an unload team member who will then hand them to exit to keep tabs on. Or actually, we usually keep it on this side of the... Actually, what we've started doing so nobody steals it, we'll usually keep it on this side of the platform and then hand it back over once the guest has ridden. They have to be tagged at guest services in order to be allowed over here. It gets a little easier during Yule yards, and it gets a little easier during Haunt, actually, because that's when the bag restrictions go into effect. Same with New Year's, where if you see a bag in here, you can pretty much assume it's a medical bag. Or a backpack or something like that. But if it's small like a fanny pack, you still gotta watch for that. Because purses and fanny packs are not allowed on this. Parent swaps. So, you'll have a group with the kid, and the kid is too short to ride. Okay, so what now? Everybody else wants to ride. we can't all ride at once because then we have to watch the kid. We don't want to wait in line twice. So, here's a parent swap. You hand them a parent swap pass at greeter. You take the parent swap pass through the line while up to 2 people can stay in line or can stay behind with the kid. And then you can come wait at the exit or wherever. We prefer they not wait in the exit path, but it's pretty wide, so if they do, it's really not a big deal. Wait wherever. Designated meeting point, whatever. So after everyone else is ridden, they take the parent swap and give it to exit or unload, whoever's the custodian of them at that point, or greeter if it's dead, or grouper, I mean. It'll have their last name on it, and the description of the person and the date. The description of the person, that's something we've recently started doing, and that's something that'll be up to the guest. We'll ask, how do you want to be described? And they'll tell you, and they'll write it down. That's to prevent some kind of fraud. And then that guest now goes with the other 2 riders to request the parent swap and put the other 2 riders on. That's how that works. And it also makes sure, A, that the original guest doesn't get back on, and B, that the right parent swap is handed back. Because sometimes we'll have people with similar names, and something can happen, and at that point, it's kind of whatever. And we want to reduce the whatever. Alternate access passes. So there's a green slip, which is the regular, where you go to greeter, and you get a return time, which is the wait time plus the current time. For example, if it's a 90-minute wait, and the time is currently 2:30 in the afternoon, then the return time is 4 o'clock. If you want the front row, then you'll have to add another 15 minutes to that. So it will be 4:15 instead. For Easy Queue, if they bought Easy Queue, which can be used in conjunction with an ADA pass, then the wait time is the return time is the current time plus the Easy Queue time. So let's say we have a big, wild 2-hour line, and Easy line's only like, I don't know, halfway full, so it's easy, 15 minutes. Then the return time would be 2:45. The 15-minute rule still applies, though, for the front row. So if they want to wait specifically for the front, it's another 15 minutes. This will apply even though there's no preferred seating, because it'll make it a little more fair. That way, front row doesn't get stymied so often without good cause. And then, for those disabilities which are not visible, such as autism spectrum disorders and other disorders of like, not calling autism a disability in any way, but, it's grouped under that solely for purposes of administering these passes. So it's a yellow slip. So instead of going to the entrance, coming back, and getting a return time, what you're going to do instead is the first ride of the day is on us. After that, you wait a standard interval. This standard interval can be as short as 5 minutes on a quiet day, or as long as 180 minutes on a day where we're at capacity. Note that very rarely it's at 180 minutes. Like, let's say a Saturday during kill yards and the weather's really nice and the park is absolutely slammed to the point where we cannot let anybody else in. That would be a day where the interval is 180. Usually averages around 45 to an hour. Now, so you go to the ride, you ride, and you get your time for the next ride, which is the current time plus the interval time, which is given to you once you get on the ride. Which is why it's called a plan your day pass. Because for these kinds of conditions, routine helps a lot to make sure that the affected person has the best day they can. And we introduce routine by evening out the wait time, averaging out the wait times. But this can also be used in conjunction with Easy Queue. And if they have Easy Queue, the return time interval is cut by 60%. So your wait time, let's say the interval is 1 hour, 60 minutes, and you ride at 2:30. Ordinarily, it would be 60 minutes later, so 3:30, but with the 2/5 rule for Easy Queue, it would instead be 2:54, so 20 minutes later. For front row, you'd wait an additional 5 minutes if you want the front row for this one. But we try to discourage people using this pass from getting in the front row. We don't discourage, we don't usually offer the front row. Back is better on this anyway. Much better. Because you get that dive off of the... See it? You get the dive off of the... Get the dive off the 96-degree drop, and it is absolutely sublime. But I digress. Actually, no, the 15-minute rule does still apply for front row. So it is 15 minutes. I don't know why where I got 5 from. I think that's how we did it at first, and then my brain just slipped out now. My bad. I'm human. It happens. So, this is still, and again, this is going to change in the winter season. And it might be a winter-only season-only thing for a little bit, but it's eventually going to change full-time. This is what is known as a very popular ride. It's still very new. It gets huge waits. And accordingly, we treat it accordingly. So, for the Plan Your Day Pass, the way this works is, A, this ride cannot be the first ride of the day. And B, just like Easy Queue users and Easy Queue Plus users can only ride this once for now, or just like Easy Queue users can only ride this once, Easy Queue Plus can ride it with the regular scan amounts. Easy Queue can only ride this once. If you bought Easy Queue Plus in conjunction with that, you can use the regular interval for every ride. However, actually, that's not quite correct. Let me check my guide here. Okay, it says that A, cannot be your first ride of the day, and B, you can only ride it once with the standard interval. After that, every subsequent ride on it can only be after the queue time has passed since your last ride, or easy queue time if you have easy queue. You can only use the easy queue time once if you're using easy queue plus, or if you're not using easy queue plus, I might add. So advice for both passes: make sure you check their height, check the pass for the correct name and date. The owner of the pass, the subject of the pass, person with the disability or condition must be riding. Can't have like a mom with a disability or condition going and sending her kids on. No, you can't do that. Mom has to ride or nobody rides. And no more than 3 additional people can ride with them. And this one you can only board 1 group of ADA every 3 trains. Trains are nice and colorful, so you'll be able to tell which trains are every 3. For example, if you boarded ADA on teal or on turquoise, then next group has to be loaded on lime, and so on and so forth. Although if there's no ADA, it might change after a while. All you have to do is, if you board an ADA group, look at the launch track and then look at the train that comes behind it once both trains are in. That's going to be the train on which you can next load ADA. There's also extra pages in the pass. You need to check the extra pages in the pass and make sure there is not an X next to the ride. If there is an X next to the ride, that means the person cannot ride due to their condition. Example, this one is not so nice for people with epilepsy. People with epilepsy can sometimes use the Plan Your Day Pass if it's combined with other conditions. However, if they do have epilepsy, since this uses strobe lighting, we cannot, in good faith, let them ride the ride. Because the strobe lighting will cause epilepsy, especially, and nowhere is it worse than on this ride right here. So, ADA will always board from this exit gate right here. They'll usually board a train that is sitting in the unload station. If we're not using the unload station, and we're instead doing only single station, for example, if we're running 4 trains or less, then people are going to get off and walk back there. You kind of got to make sure that they don't get too close to the train that's here. Sure they exit promptly. But B, anyone who's boarding from ADA will come all the way to the load station. And then usually at that point you'll have grouper allocate a row and keep a row open so that they can board that row. Usually, if we have an exit host, they're going to handle ADA passes, or otherwise unload will. If there's no unload station, then greeter will. Greeter can, or grouper. Why do I keep calling it greeter? A grouper can walk back here, and then they can sign it and then walk back in, or they can take it with them, fill row, sign it, do whatever they need to do, and then come back here and hand it back and tell them which train they're going to be on. We'll also have VIP tours. VIP tours must have their wristband on, and they must have the guest services associate with them. Their guest services escort. They must be with them. And then they'll usually be waiting at the exit too for them. For ADA passes and VIP tours, all items have to be left in the locker with a non-rider. The nice thing is that lockers are at ground level. So what the ADA person will do is they'll place all of their belongings in the locker, and then before we board, they ask them to, shake out their pockets, make sure everything's good. What we're thinking of possibly doing is putting maybe an additional metal detector up here, or actually, you know what would be better? Even better. I know it's kind of intrusive wanting people down, but that just might be the best option for people boarding through the exit, because they're not going through the original metal detectors. So we kind of got to wand people down at that point. Now, if you chances are, if you can't go through the metal detectors for whatever reason, then you're not going to be able to ride the ride anyway. Because the same technology that's going to affect you, such as if you have a pacemaker, there's magnets all over this thing. You have something like a pacemaker, you absolutely can't ride this, or even go through metal detectors, because they're magnets, they'll affect you. They'll screw with your pacemaker, and so will the magnets on the ride. So at that point, unfortunately, you're just going to have to take a loss there. And I feel for you, I really do at that point. I myself have said, I will keep riding these coasters till the day I die, come hell or high water. But if you're not as coaster fanatical as I am, and you value your health a little more, then yeah, best not ride this one. Only you know your limitations, use common sense. Speaking of stuff like that, that's safety information. It's time for some stats. A little different. And then we're going to go over rider requirements just in general. So, this is a Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster. Regular EZQ only has 1 scan per day. Access pass stipulation, we already went over that. Maximum height is 124 feet at the top of tippy top of that little tower right there. Max vertical angle on the drop is 97 degrees, but on the scorpion tail back there by the swing launch, that's 117 degrees. The top speed of the ride is at the third swing of the swing launch, that's 59.5 miles an hour. And it includes 4,510 feet of track. I know, you see all this track here, you think it's longer, but it's not. I know it's very Smiler-ish. Real quick, I'm going to check. How long is Smiler? Fire up the old Google here. The old RCDB machine. It says here Smiler is 38.6. So yeah, this is much longer than Smiler. It's also taller and faster. Doesn't have all the loopy-loops, though. But boy, does it have some loopy-loops. It's got 8 of what the GP call loopy-loops. It's got 8 inversions. Starting with that dive drop right there, and then you have your finish loop. You have an overbanked inversion right here. It's a cutback. It's not fully inverted, though. It's like 150, 160 something degrees. And then you have this weird 0G roll thing. RCDP calls 0G roll variant, so that's what we put it in as. That you encounter after the swing launch. And then you have probably what is the most normal inversion on here. It's a dive loop. Probably what is, again, the most normal inversion on here. And then you have this long, drawn-out, similar inversions got named a Heartline roll. You're only going to find long drawn-out zero-G roll like that on like a wing coaster or this. There's a coaster model somewhere in Southeast Asia that has a roll like this. And RGB calls it a Heartline roll, so that's what we refer to it as. And then a zero-G winder. Yukon Striker kind of started that whole deal. It's a zero-G roll, but you don't, instead of continuing in the direction you started in, you turn like 90 degrees, or in this case, a little less than 90 degrees, but still enough for it to be called a zero-G winder. And then you have a corkscrew, and you get all kinds of crazy forces on this guy. Like, it's a corkscrew that Premier Rides would put on their ride, and we made Gershflower do it. So, another obscure fact is this is a record holder. This is a world record holder, because this took the airtime record from Steel Vengeance. So we measured the airtime in 3 different points on the ride. On the front left, you get 29.07 seconds. So actually, maybe the front is kind of better, but you get more airtime in the front, but you get stronger airtime in the back. You get that big, beautiful drop, and you get a lot more negative G's on the scorpion tail. You get an ejector on that thing. Back right, you get 27.34, which, by the way, if you were going with the lowest number, would still beat Steel Vengeance's 27.25, or whatever it was. Hold on. Let me see what it was. Fire up the old Google. 27.2, so we'd still win. And then your airtime in the middle is 27.64, with a total of 28.02 seconds of airtime on average, which is the most in the world. So this is a record holder. This was not actually built with that in mind, but I wrote the thing a couple times. I'm like, why don't we see if it holds it? And we put an accelerometer on there, and sure enough, came out with our numbers that we liked. So the trains, look at these guys. Let me kind of dissect what's on the back here. You got your splatter shots back here, your splat bombs, locked and loaded and ready to go. Let's wait for this guy to... Let's wait for these guys to advance. You can take a good look at our Woomy-mobiles. Each one has a different license plate. That one's Ink It. This one's Bombs Away. Let's go back here and see what this one is. I can't see it. I can squat down and see it. Can't see it. Hold on. Let me go out this gate for a second, see if I can see it from here. This one's No Salmon. We're going to see purple too here. Let's go out here real quick because I want to see purple. I know pink is Woomy. I think. Pink is definitely Woomy. I don't know why I put Woomy on pink. I should have put it on orange because orange is the default. It's a good color. Purple is Yuhi! I don't know where they... That was cringy, I'm sorry. Please don't leave. I don't know where they... I don't know where they make that noise. They're just... I haven't played in a while. Or at all. This thing, by the way, opens and closes your gate. Set to open. The gate stays unlocked. But they can only be done... Can't dispatch a train if this is set to open. If you hold it open. You just... This is spring-loaded, so it closes. But I digress back to the trains. You got your little badges right here. Got the ride logo on the front of them. And there... All else is just your average Infinity Coaster train. We didn't put any mods on this thing, other than that those scenery items. The ride experience will be the same exact one you get on Hang Time, or the seat comfort experience. This is way better than that one. I has insulted this thing by comparing to Hang Time. It's a great ride, but it's not this. Monster, Schwur des Carnan, any other Infinity coaster out there. We're gonna go out here see if I can see the license plate on the other one. And then this one's Splatter. And then the other two trains... Oh yeah, there's actually 8 trains, but it can only run 6 at any one time. The other 2 exist so that the ride can be run at full capacity while 2 trains are being serviced. So like during spring cleaning and during winter doldrums, we can still run 6 trains on this if it gets kind of busy, which it does sometimes. Like when we've had the 2 mild winters that we've had, like you can still get some days where it's decently crowded in like January and February. I forget what the other 2 license plates are. I think red is Octo, and then I think yellow is Squid. Octo and Squid. Those are our 2 other trains. So yeah, 6 trains at a time, 12 riders, each 3 rows of 4. Weather. This thing runs in all types of rain, and it closes when you have lightning within 10 miles. For moderate rain, which park ops will call and tell if it's moderate rain, and then if there's 10-mile lightning, you'll hear the Thorgard. It's 5-mile lightning, you'll hear Thorgard again. You hear Thorgard blast twice. And then park ops will call you as well. So, when there's moderate rain, we're going to transfer 2 of these trains off. We're going to cut unload momentarily, send them to go clean or whatnot, or go to other rides, or help with brakes, send people on 15s, or do test rides even. Actually, we're not sending people to clean, because ride-ups don't clean at Sentinel properties. We have park services for that, and they get a limited number of ride training so they can clean the ride areas and ride platforms as well. If heavy rain, we're going to transfer off everything but 2 trains. Like, if it's in a monsoon, we'll run it, but we're only going to run 2 trains. We're probably only going to need 2 trains at that point anyway. Rule is cut to as many trains as you have stations. We have 2 stations. So. Dispatch intervals. Our good old dispatch interval. As you can see, the train in front reaches the top of the tower. But more specifically, it's when the train in front of that, train in front of the launching train, the train will launch when the block up here is clear. So it's about 45 seconds per dispatch, give or take, on average. Hats and glasses must be secured with a strap. If not, they must be removed and placed in your locker. Alright, safety info. I delved into a little bit of this a few minutes ago, but we'll go into a little more detail now. So, Splatoon Splatfinity Coaster. That is the full name of the ride. It is a very colorful, high-speed launch roller coaster which turns riders upside down multiple times. Riders will experience weightlessness, rapid movements from side to side, and high acceleration forces both forwards and backwards. Guests must be a minimum of 48 inches, red-eyed stick, and a maximum of 77 inches, measured with signs on the pillars here, the ride entry points, in order to ride. An individual clamshell style lap bar will secure riders across the thighs and pelvis. Due to the nature of this restraint, this ride may not accommodate guests of a larger size. A test seat is located at the entrance to the ride, which can be used to ensure proper function and comfort prior to waiting in line. If you're using single rider ADA, go up there, use it, not a big deal. Guests must have a minimum of 3 functioning extremities. So it could be an arm and 2 legs, or a leg and 2 arms. Guests must have sufficient lower extremities to ensure the ride restraint adequately, and both legs must include the knee. Okay, maybe not a leg and 2 arms, but you must have at least 3. 3 functioning extremities. Guests with a cervical collar, neck brace, or broken collarbone are not permitted to ride. And if you have a cast, you may not ride this. Please watch for casts. I don't want to be the bad guy and give people safety demerits for casts. Alternate access is available at the ride exit, right there. Where guests using a wheelchair will encounter a ramp, riders will have to transfer into the seat on their own or the assistance of a companion. Make sure you're instructing guests not to use the ride restraints for support, as they may shift when getting in and out. Also, note, metal detection is in progress. Anything that you bring with you except for medically tagged items, and this will include water bottles, has to be left in the locker. You're only waiting 15 minutes. You'll live. If you absolutely medically need it, again, have it tagged. And then you can take it with you with any ride. Although, you can take it with you with any ride anyway. Pockets must be empty. Empty. This includes Velcro, zipper, or button pockets. Again, the ride contains strobe lighting, so seizure warning. The ride utilizes magnetic systems, so anyone with pacemakers, anything that can't really be exposed to magnets, or shouldn't, don't ride this. And then same with the metal detectors. Alright, so I know that was very long-winded, but that is it for the general info. Now I'm going to go over ride rotations with you. So, let's go over to the standby metal detectors. I don't know why I went around. I could have just as much more easily taken you there if we crossed the train. My bad. Actually, we can kind of just use this gate. Just use this gate. Okay. Here's how rotations are gonna go. So you're doing your thing at the metal detectors, right? So then you're going to go up here to grouper. You skip anything that's cut, usually. And then you're going to go in here, do load, controls, and then load on the other side. And they're going to do unload on the other side. Then you're going to do unload here. And then you're going to go to the exit. This gate cannot be authorized in motion. That one can, this one can't. And then once you've gone to exit, you're going to go over here. And then you're going to go in here. And then you're going to be the metal detector person for single rider. And then you're going to come for the locker person. And then you're going to be the metal detector person for single rider. And then, after rotating out of metal... Actually, it's the other way around. Metal detectors first, then the locker guy, and then you're going to come through here. And then you're going to be greeter for single rider. And then you're going to go through here. And then you're going to be greeter here for 2 rotations. And then you're going to come over here. And then you're going to be the locker person for 2 rotations. And then you're going to go back to the metal detector, standby metal, where you're going to be for 2 rotations. The reason we have 2 here and 1 here, because there's a lot more people going through this one. Alright, and for rotations, it's a maximum of 16 associates with a minimum of 7. And boy, that is quite... You can cut up to 9 positions. First thing we cut is exit, because exit, all they do is do ADA passes. There's not much there. You're literally not doing anything else. Because unload checks the gate. Then, after that, we can cut standby locker number 2. It's really a lot of what you're doing is you're handing out locker cards to people and assisting with locker. We have 2 usually so that you can assist with lockers while the others letting people in, but you can really just do it between loads anyway. And then we cut the metal detector, and then we cut the standby metal detectors to 1 person. It's a little bit tougher with 1 person, but you can manage. And then we're going to cut greeter to 1. Now, when you're up checking bars, your order of clears is going to be left, then right. Is going to be right, then left. At both positions. High clear will be front right. The 2 stations will operate independently. That's Squid Sisters, by the way, performing all the songs. Now, for the queue. It's important to note that for the 2 lines are merged. It's 5 minutes when you come down the ramp halfway. Halfway down the ramp, it's 5 minutes. And then if the ramp is full, it's 10 minutes. So after that, if it's a straight shot all the way back to the entrance with no switchbacks open, it's 30 minutes for each side. So just add 5 to whatever it is when calling in the wait time for either at the end of each hour. These 2 cattle pens, in order to open a cattle pen, what you're going to do is you're going to lift and twist. Now put it back, you're going to lift and twist. So, you open up these 2 cattle pens right here. They're 5 minutes each for 10 added minutes. And then that second one is another cattle pen right there. We can open this up. Another small section for 5 minutes. And then these are all 10 minutes each. If this is all full, plus all the way back to the ride entrance, that's going to be 85 minutes for standby. Then you come to these two switchbacks right here. You open up this big long one first. It's another 20 minutes for 105. And then you open up this one right here. It's just 15 minutes for 120 minutes. So it's 2 hours with these guys full. And then you got another set right here. A smaller set. This one's 5. This one's 10. That's 135 minutes. So that's 2 hours and 15. And then come with me down here for a quick second. When it gets really busy, really busy. Like this, like 90% of the time, isn't even going to get to the point where you need to open up this set. However, the other 10%, kill yards for sure. Kill yards always. Like, kill yards, the queue will be full. Sometimes, a lot of times during Yule yards during spring break, the weather's, or just if the weather's nice, and sometimes even during Spring Festival, you get like a nice summery day. Like, we'll at least open this section. But this section is 45 minutes. This big long section, if that fills up. And then if this is full, line is 3 hours at that point. And then you got this switchback right here, which is 15 minutes. And then you got 10 minutes each for these outer switchbacks. And then you got 5 minutes each for these inner switchbacks. If all of this is absolutely full to the entrance, where the entrance is where the standby queue is prairie dogging, it's 3 hours and 45 minutes total at that point. So, easy queue is basically the same as straight shot. It's about 40-45 minutes if the easy queue line is full, which you'll very occasionally get. Like I said, on the most crowded of days. So that's it for the queue. Huh. How do I want to do this? I want to end with... checking bars and controls. We go a little bit out of the rotation order here. Go ahead and start with our exit position. Like I said, there's not much to it. Sign ADA path. You'll usually be out here, but sometimes you may end up stuck inside for dispatch. That's okay. Either way, you're mostly going to be signing 88 passes, and then you're going to help with height checking people using 88 passes. And then you're also going to be the one to wand them down. Once that gets going into motion, or otherwise ensuring all pockets are empty. And to be cognizant, know how to identify things like insulin pumps, things that can't be taken out, stuff like that. Although that may interfere. If it interferes with the restraint, always err on the side of caution. So, that's exit. That's the gist of it. That's a very, very short thing. Oh, one more thing about... you're probably wondering why I didn't mention wait times for single rider. Like I said, single rider is a gamble. You fill this thing up, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 3.5 hours. Again, it all depends on the groupings in here. Single rider is you're there to fill empty seats. You cannot choose your row. And we put you on when there's a seat for you. The line may very well be longer here than the standby queue. So that's pretty much it. That's what I gotta mention. I'm going to go over the standby versions of each of these ones, although I will say one thing for single rider queue. So, you're going to send people, on the standby side, you're going to send people through the lockers until the ramp is about 3/4 full. Or through the metal detector until the ramp is about 3/4. Actually, no, until the ramp is completely full. For a single rider, on the other hand, you don't want to get more than 1/4 of the way down. Because you got people without anything in their pockets potentially waiting a super long time, if that's the case, if you send them down there. Send them until it's about 1/4 of the way, halfway down this slope right here, and then keep the rest in here, please. Just don't... Because in here, they can use their phones, keep themselves entertained. Up there, they can't. And drink their drinks as well. Alright, I digress. So, I may as well go in order of the queue here. So, this is greeter station for standby. And as you saw over there is easy queue. Your main objective is to sit here and look pretty. That's it. No. You have a very important role to play because you are the first line of defense for other rider requirements. Make sure people don't have anything with them that can't fit in the locker. We do have a little tester bay right here. If it's something like a nanner or something like huge, the nanners being the stuffed toys you win at games. Although, I don't know why they'd have it, because usually at the games we give them passes for prizes, and then at the end of the day they go to the prize redemption outside the park and they can't bring them back in. But let's say one does get here. Please do not, for the love of God, let it in the line. Basketballs we usually give out deflated. And then you can pay to have them inflated outside of the park entrance. Those will usually fit. At which point you can't even let them back in the park. Those will usually fit in these lockers. In their deflated form, so don't worry about those too much. So you're going to sit here, you're going to hold the height stick. On that side, you got the park phone, and this side you got the A phone. Actually, no, this side you got the A phone, this side you got the park phone. So if you're on this side, you're going to be the one to call in wait times. Although, if there's only one of you, then if there's no greeter, patrols will call in wait times. There's always going to be a greeter here. Remember, to the top of the tape with your carpenter's triangle, and if you're not sure, use the height stand. Really not sure, send them back to guest services to get a wristband. Or a height measuring station. Come back with a wristband, let them on. Other than that, look for your rider requirements, your limbs, your too short, too tall. And if there's a large rider, kind of gently encourage them to use the test seat right over there. And then kind of help them out with it if you can. There's a green, there's a yellow, there's a red. If it's green, you're good to go. You can't help them with the test seat. If it's green, you're good to go. If it's yellow, then you might be able to get them on with a nice push once they're up there. If it's red, then yeah, there's no way. So, assist them in using the test seat. Should be good to go. So, yeah, that's basically it. Again, there's no item tickets to look for. If there's ADA passes, get them the return time. Be cognizant of that they have easy queue, and also be cognizant of which ADA pass it is. They have a return time already. Send them up to the exit, same as if they have a plan your day pass. Now, for the regular pass, there's one thing I forgot to mention. If the ride goes down while they're waiting, and it's within 10 minutes, the ride is down within 10 minutes of their return time, then they can go to any member of staff for this ride, get it crossed out, and have it write DT next to it with the DT and then signer's initials, and then they can go get another wait time. And then they can go get another return time from somewhere else, and then come back to ride this whenever they are conveniently of it. So that's pretty much it. Let's go over here. Wave hello to the retail team members taking care of the pictures. Let's go in here. This is your locker station. Basically, all you're going to do, very simple. You're not going to height measure anybody here. That's for Grouper to do. You're going to check for loose articles. You're going to make... actually, that's Metal Detector's job. Basically, you're just going to be handing out locker cards. That's it. Hand out the locker cards. And assist anybody who may need help with their locker. You'd be surprised how many people are just going to come up to you and say, I forgot my locker, just pointing towards this thing. Now, if they lost their card and they can't remember which one, and they can remember which one it is, you have a master key fob that will unlock it for them. And they might have to show their ID to get some stuff back, their stuff back. If they lost their card and they can't remember it, then they're just going to have to come back at the end of the day when we can unlock lockers. At the end of the day, after all riders have cycled through, and then you can unlock their lockers for them. And then you can unlock their lockers for them. Lock each locker until... Unlock each locker that is still red until you land on theirs. And then... Obviously, if there's only one left and they land on their stuff, okay. If they're more than that, have them show ID, please. Let's not end up with stolen stuff. Alright? Cool. That's the locker attendant's job. Then you're going to send the guests through the assembly line into the metal detectors. Ever been through the TSA? It's literally the same thing without the x-ray machine. Wait till it says green, you send them through. If it beeps, you send them back. Make sure their pockets are empty. That beeps again. And if they have proven that they have nothing on them and it still beeps, it's either A, an item of their clothing, or B, something implanted in them. It's something, ask them about their clothing, and ask them about their implants. If it's a pacemaker, tell them that they should not ride this because there are magnets everywhere. And stress that again. Shouldn't have even gone through the metal detector at that point. Take care of yourselves, y'all. Have items on them, and they don't have a locker card, you've got some right here that you can hand. Anywho, that's pretty much it. It's a lot more chill over there, I will say, because you've only got a handful of people coming through. Here, you've got a continuous line until this ramp gets full. Alright, up and up. To grouper. I hate being the bad guy about this, but due to the nature of the ride, we don't allow preferred seating. In most cases. If it's like quiet, then go ahead and allow it to a limited degree. But as you can see, there's not much room over on either side for people to wait for their row. Descend. Do everything. Watch out for everything you were watching out for before. Just take your height stick. Don't forget to measure people that need to be measured, just in case. If you're sending them away from this point, you can give them at one time use CCQ for another ride, or for when they come back. They don't really expire for a long time. But yeah. You're going to send 4 people to each row once the gates close. Being sure to hold open any rows needed for ADA. And then, if there are any gaps that are not occupied by seats that are tied off on the next train, please watch out for that. You can go ahead and send in your single riders. Alright. Front to back, back to front. Alright. Not supposed to. It's I will do one. Alright, wait for these people to go in. Alright, how many riders you got? You got 4. Go ahead to row 1. Oh. Okay. How many riders you got? Go ahead and chain that off real quick. They need row 3. 3. Alright, go in here. And Mr. Single Rider, you're going to go to row 2, please. Alright, it's open for you. You accidentally send people to a row that's occupied by 88s. Nobody knows. Another 45 seconds. Oh no. They've already been waiting 3 hours. The injustice. Alright, how many riders? 2. Alright, go up front, please. How many riders? Alright, 3. Gonna go to row 2. How many riders you got there? Alright, you got another 2. You're gonna go ahead to row 1. How many riders? 2. You're gonna go to row 3. Do you have a group of 2 back there? Yes, come forward, please. Alright, go here, and single rider to row 2, please. If they're more than like half, if you just yell once for groups of 2, if nobody responds, just put in your single riders. Don't try and force the issue. Alright, how many riders, please? Alright, 4. You're going to go to row 1. How many riders? 4 again. Row 2. How many riders? 2. Okay, go ahead. Row 3. How many riders? How many riders? How many riders? Got a group of 2? No. Alright, 2 single riders, please. Row 3. Hey, you guys got lucky. Look at that. Alright, that's basically the gist of it. Alright, let's go in here. We're going to start checking some seats. Now, it's very simple. Restraints go down. You're going to take one in each hand. Check. Really, really quick. You're going to check the monitor to make sure all the seats are green. And then you're going to do your eye cycle. Clears are up once the train launches. Keeping in mind the clear is an OK symbol. It's not a thumbs up anymore. It's a lot easier on the hand. And to be honest, I do like it a lot more. It's the Hershey Park clear. Oh, and this button only needs to be held until the train moves. You can start holding it down, like, once you're ready, and then once the train moves, you can let go. Alright, hands up, please. Check real quick. You're going to come back looking at your riders. So there's nothing illicit going on. And then you're going to look up at your monitor. Everything's all good here. Alright, put up your clear. And away it goes. And let's go ahead and do one more. Make sure you check that gate, by the way, if you have to open it at all. So your gate's good. Alright, hands up. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. And alright, sit back. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, you're good. A large rider there. All clear. Well, we don't say all clear anymore. I probably should have done the back first. Alright. Go ahead and go through here. We're going to go to unload. So, unload. If there's no exit, you're going to be doing 88 passes. Otherwise, literally, it's just making sure all the restraints have popped up. Pressing you're ready when it's time. If anybody's stuck in the seat, you have an unlock restraints button, because they relock after a few seconds. So you can go ahead and put ADA in. And then you're going to check whoever's seat needs to be checked if they're ADA, because they still need their seat checked to go from here to here. For example, now we have some people in a wheelchair coming in. Alright. Usually we're all 4 of you. Alright. Alright, you're good to go. Check this gate, and then press you're ready to move. And you do not need to put up a clear here. You're ready to move as you're clear. Everything's good. However, you can hit auto stop if you need to stop the dispatch. Now you're probably wondering what the auto dispatch button does. That's for maintenance mode. That sets it so that the trains dispatch continuously without any button push at all. They just keep going at their rhythm. That is only in maintenance bypass. And guess absolutely cannot be anywhere on the ride if that's pressed. Alright, let's do cycles. Alright, we have more ADA coming in. This time there's only 2 of them. And open the gate for them. Alright, go ahead. And they want to sit. Oh, they're front row riders. They're going to take care of them over there. Wait a minute. Hold on. Press you're ready. There we go. Hey, exit. You were, you accidentally sent them a little too close there. Go ahead and load them on again when the, when the line comes in. All right? All restraints are up. Gate is good. Go ahead and press you're ready to move. Alright, we'll do one more on this side of the mode. I'll go to the other side. We got a lap bar down. Go ahead and hit unlock restraints. That's where lap bar's up. Alright, here we go. And press this. Tug this. Alright, press you're ready. Cool. We're gonna cross. This won't be too much longer. I am quite hungry because I have not eaten today. I've been running around thrill yards all day, tending to various shenanigans. And now I'm training. So, alright. Cross over here. Literally all you're doing, checking same thing. Checking anyone ADA sends in. And then you're going to put up a clear once you're good to go. You do put up high clear when you press the ready to move, but no big deal. You only have to check this gate if you open it. Really, you're just kind of walking around back here. You're also the one who's going to be looking after medical bags, by the way. Honestly, there's not much more to it. Honestly, we don't even need to really do any cycles back here. Oh, let's do a few. Go ahead and check these two seats. You got 88, you're good. Alright, put up your clear. Once they give you like a nod and press the ready, you're good. Now, these restraints here are not being monitored. So you're very well going to have some riders where you secure into the restraint back here. But when they get up there, they're not going to be able to put it to... They're not going to be able to put it up to verify, and they're going to have to exit from that train. Alright, you're good. And occasionally you're going to have a rider who can't get all the way to this side, but they can get into the seat on the very end. If that's the case, if that's the case, go ahead and seat them on that side. We'll just have the guests cross through the train in the row ahead of them or behind them or wherever. And then sit on that side that way. We don't want them walking through here because there's not really much of a walking surface. Well, there is. It's just... eligible. Alright. Clear. And you're good. Get the reflections off of the lap bars. It's like the trains have lights in them. Alright, and moving up to load right. It's going to come over here. People are going to get in. Hands up, please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. And then you're just going to come back here. Do your eye cycle. Make sure nobody's in this area. Alright, whenever you're clear, press your button. Press you're ready to move. Cool. Easy peasy, right? Like I said, there's a ton of moving parts, but once you know what they are, the ride is very straightforward. Literally a B&M Hyper with less cars and did a whole bunch of crazy shit. Alright, hands up, please. And put up your clear. Press your button. Alright, one more, and then it's controls time. Controls shouldn't take too long, because there's not too much to explain. We've been going at this for a pretty good amount of time. Like I said, lots of moving parts. You know. Each one is very, very, very super simple. Alright. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alright. Alright, sit back, all the way back, please. Alright, one more push. Use my knee. Alright, you're good. Alright, clear. Here you go. Good job getting that guy in. Alright, once we're all parked. Alright, let's go in the booth. This is our control panel. You also got your water cooler here, a few spare height sticks. You got your fire extinguisher. Remember, pass, pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Of course, don't forget to turn it over once a month and to initial it, and do what you need to with that. It's part of the morning checks. Filling the water is also part of the morning checks, so you can do that at Bubba Gump. You got your two phones. You got your A phone, your park phone. A phone calls that. Park phone can call other numbers in the park. And then you got your control panel. Alright, control power. Indicates power to the control panel. If you key off the ride while the ride's running, I will make you ride Coast Rider at Knott's Berry Farm over and over again. Well, not really, but please don't do that. You will suffer very bad consequences in terms of ride safety demerits, so. Well, not ride safety demerits, but, you know, that's in general. Probably just general demerits. Ride mode, auto transfer, manual. You need a special key for that, which your team lead will have, or unit supervisor will have. Boost mode! Occasionally, when it's cold and it's empty, when the ride's empty or there's snow on the tracks, we can speed up both of these launches if trains are empty. The reason we can't do a guess is this thing's going to pull probably 2.5 negative Gs. Speed at which it goes over in boost mode. And then this one increases the launch for sure. So that's what boost mode does. It's used during morning checks and by maintenance usually. In some situations. Maintenance mode. You know what that does? Maintenance bypass mode, which unlocks a whole host of different functions, including auto dispatch mode. Acknowledge button. Before you start any other steps to rectify any errors on screen, you have to press the acknowledge button. This panel and the Rise Control System were done by Irvine Andre. They have the prettiest panels by far. Well, kind of in competition with Consign for that honor. Consign has... They both get their... It's apples and oranges, really. They both get their beauty from simplicity. their aesthetics please in many different ways. So you got your emergency stop. Only press that if you have a reason. Although, if you think that you have a reason, press first, ask questions later. Emergency stop will close all the brakes, stop all of the control devices, i.e. tires. Any launches that are in progress will immediately stop. In place. And by stop in place, I mean the mags will just keep powered. If you're on a swing launch and it stops, stops early, you'll probably go over, just make it past. Rest the ride a little slower than usual, or you might not make it over at all. Some extra beautiful hang time. This thing has not saddled up top of there yet. Although never say never. And then it'll just swing for a couple times. It'll slow down pretty quick, because those brakes, when they're not powered, they act as magnetic brakes, pretty much. I've been on a Voltron ride stop where they, you know that launch that's also a block? They acted as brakes instead. Ride stop does all of that without cutting the power to the ride. Auto dispatch, you already know what that does. Makes it so you don't have to push any buttons and it'll just keep dispatching. If it's an auto dispatch and you press auto stop, it'll just stop dispatching trains. Press auto stop again while it's not in auto dispatch mode. It'll just stop the current dispatch. Won't allow dispatches until you press it again. And then move train to launch is the same in that one. You just gotta hold it down, one singular button until the train starts moving. And your unlock restraints. I hope I don't have to explain that one. Alright. Now, see what you're going to do. It's going to sit here. You're going to lock and unlock restraints if you're told to. You cannot unlock individual cars. You have to unlock the whole train. But it's okay, because locking everyone back in again and checking them takes like 5 seconds. It takes like 5 seconds. The lock and unlock is 5 seconds. The walk of shame is forever. Anywho. And then once ready to go, you do your eye cycle. You don't say all clear anymore. And you press, you're going to hold up a little clear yourself. You're going to hold down the button until it keeps moving. Starts moving. And then that's it. Let's do a few cycles. So I can show you just how simple it is. Alright. Restraints are locked. Gonna hold out your button. There we go. We're gonna start that one over again. Too busy adjusting your chair. Alright, gates are open. Close. Oh yeah, you're also gonna close your gates while you're over there. Alright, check, check, check. Alright. Train is going to launch. Go ahead and hold down your button. You're good. Alright, next one. Guests are coming in, coming in, coming in. Alright. Everyone's checking. Unlock. Restraints have been unlocked by main controls. Restraints are locked. Alright, we're good. Hold that down. Alright, ready to go. Alright, let's do one more. Got him? Yep. Alright. I'll see screen. Hold your button. There we go. Cool. That's it. Alright. Your controls. Alright, some final thoughts as we head back to the front. It looks intimidating. Like I said, I'll say it again. But it's actually really simple and it's super fun to work. The lights and the music and everything awesome about it just looks so amazing. And it really is amazing right at work. It's fast-paced, though. You gotta be willing to go fast. You gotta be optimistic about everything, because it's a really fun environment. You want to carry the fun with you, too. I don't know why I said it like that. That was super awkward, but you get my point. Alrighty. So, that was that. Thank you for joining me for this lovely journey through the standard operating procedures for Splatoon Splatfinity Coaster. See you at the next one, and peace out.